me now from New York City, America's accountant, Dan Geltrude. Dan, it's so great to see you. Dan, I have a feeling that you disagree with Biden here. He's trying to make it seem like Build Back Better is going to improve our lives and turn everything around. But obviously, probably not.
No, the president being out there and the people that are supporting this bill are basically saying Build Back Better solves every single problem that we have in this country, which, of course, is not true. Let me tell you where I think Build Back Better will have us land. Right now, we are seeing a lot of economic struggles for people. What does that relate to? Primarily, it's related to inflation. What is causing inflation? Right now, there's too much demand and not enough supply. What's triggering the shortage on the supply side? A lot of that relates to labor. So until we start to talk about how people are going to go back to work, inflation is going to stay persistent. And while inflation stays persistent, Americans are going to continue to fall behind. Build Back Better, when you're talking about more and more spending, which again could create more on the demand side where we don't have enough supply, just means we're going in the wrong direction. I don't care what the president says.
Yeah, and then obviously the bad news with Omicron, it's just like it never ends, another wrecking ball, if you will. And we saw New York City already implementing and calling for new COVID-19 measures. That is, they're going after the private sector when it comes to vaccine mandates because of Omicron and so on. Now, I have a video clip here of Biden talking about how gas and oil prices have come down significantly. We'll take a look at the video and react after roll tape.
This worldwide effort we're leading won't solve the problem of high gas prices overnight. But over the last month, likely due in part to the anticipation of this action, we've seen oil and gas prices out of the wells, oil and gas prices on the wholesale market come down significantly.
So, Dan, I'm sure you saw this graph that the DCCC posted on Twitter last week, and it was like a graph of gas prices going down, and it looked pretty significant. If you had briefly looked at it, you'd be like, oh, gas prices are going down. But it was like fractions of pennies. So when you looked at it, it was pretty ridiculous that they would even post this online. Whoever posted that should be fired. That being said, should Biden be taking a victory lap right now? Because us Californians over here, we're not feeling relief at the pump yet.
What he's trying to make reference to there, Stephanie, is that the cost per barrel of oil has been coming down significantly. And related to that, that should also trickle down to prices at the pump. We are not there just yet, but presumably we could get there. But when the president is making reference to things not happening overnight, he is alluding to long-term solutions. Long-term solutions relates to the United States having energy independence. If we're going to be relying upon foreign countries, specifically OPEC, to continue to have the supply of oil pumping through the world, well, we are placing our trust in countries that aren't our friends. So the long-term answer here is we need to get away from foreign oil. We need to produce our own, but that has not been the policy of this administration. So until that starts to happen, I don't think that we're going to have a long-term solution to fuel prices coming down.
Yeah, and it's like they don't have one either. I'm sure you saw the transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg, say, oh, everyone just needs to get an electric car since gas prices are so high. That'd be nice. I mean, if somebody wants to give me a car and put in a charging station at my house, I guess I'll take it. But anyways, I mean, it's just ridiculous, some of the things that they say, and they need to come up with a better plan of action right now to help the American people. Now, I wanted to ask you this, the future of shopping malls in person. A lot of people are predicting that things are going to be looking very different in the next few years. Obviously, a lot of people do shop online. If you go to the stores, it depends on where you live. The malls are still pretty busy. But I'm just thinking of my experience this weekend doing a little Christmas shopping, and I realized the malls didn't really have everything I needed. So I went there, and now I have to go online and do a bunch of ordering for Christmas, hoping that my gifts will make it on time.
I think the long-term future of malls is really going to be turning them into distribution centers. And the reason I say that is just what you cite right there. More and more people are going online, less companies, less stores are keeping inventory in stock. Everything is based upon just-in-time delivery. So with that said, if you look at geographic location of malls, they are usually by major arteries of roadways. So what happens there is they are perfectly situated in order to warehouse stock for people that are ordering online, and then those products can easily get on trucks to ultimately be delivered. So yes, right now people are looking for things to do as far as going to the mall, but in the long term, I think we are going to see malls ultimately disappearing for distribution centers.
Yeah, well, we'll see, but definitely there will be some changes, or at least malls will have to come up with new ideas. Some of the malls that are really successful are the ones that have a lot of activity, restaurants, movie theater, and the outdoor mall model seems to work well in some areas where there's good weather. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Steph.
Of course. Coming up next, violence